The views and opinions expressed on the Honest Answer radio show are the opinions of Honest Answer Media and no one else. If you're hearing The views and opinions expressed on the Honest Answer radio show are the opinions of Honest Answer Media and no one else. If you're hearing a syndicated broadcast of this show, don't hold it against the broadcaster. Rather, congratulate them on their openness, tolerance, and respect for the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you very much. Welcome one more time to Honest Answer Radio here at honestanswerradio.com. If this is your first time joining us, I'm going to be the Marty half of this little hosting duo here.
And on this Thursday evening, is this April?
I believe this is April
13th.
That it is.
Of the year 2017, the year of our Lord, I will be the Casey half. And that song, good choice, by the way.
I thought so.
Superman, where are you now?
Well, you know, it is kind of like, it's not just a land of confusion like out in the world. It's like a land of confusion right here at my desk. You may hear, you've probably heard that. I've got kittens in the house, and they're running all over the place.
You're going to have to pick that little feller up before too long and put him on your lap.
Oh, he's about to drive me up the wall. He'll climb my leg in just a minute. He'll be up here when he gets good and ready. And I got computers scattered everywhere. I'm in the midst of a technological tornado here. And can I just say...
Technado?
Can I just say, you know, before we jump off into politics, I really, 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 really am thankful, like truly thankful, that I no longer have to deal with Windows in any way. You have no idea how happy that has made me. I not only, do I not have to deal with them, I've helped other people not have to deal with Windows. I've spent the better part of this week, I've probably put the Linux operating system on about 6 computers just this week that were like totally useless machines otherwise.
Well, yeah, because Windows had changed versions. And we're no longer supporting XP or Vista or, you know, whatever else other operating systems were on those old boxes. And you can put an old version of Linux on it or a new version of Linux. So, you know, one of the many different distributions, and boom, it's like having a new computer.
Man, it's totally like having a new computer. And there's a lot, you know, I've said it before, and this probably should be the end for the end of the show, but I wish... And I'll get into this more in a little bit at the end of the show, but I wish that I could evangelize Jesus half as well as I have evangelized Linux. And it's me. It's got to be something I'm doing wrong. But man, every single person without exception that I've showed this operating system to have went, yeah, I want that on my computer. Can I have that on my computer? Because I'm sick of Windows. There's no such thing as a virus. You don't got to fool with antivirus and cleaning out your cache and all this crap.
Yeah, you know, I went to go look for because I wasn't thinking clearly. After you put Linux on there, I was looking at all the stuff that I used on my Windows box, and I was looking. Okay, well, let me go look. One second. Wait a minute. I don't really need to put a bunch of spyware, anti-spyware, and anti-malware, and all that kind of stuff on this machine, because
if you pick up, that's not saying you can't catch one. I mean, like if you're surfing the web and you go to a bad site and it's got a bug in it, well, it'll still get your web browser really good. But then what you do is you just close out the web browser and open it back up. Boom, no more virus. It's just that simple. I cannot, if you are within the sound of my voice and you are operating with Windows,
we're sorry.
Run away. Run fast. Get as far away from that operating system as you possibly can. If you suffer anger and aggression at your computer, feel no more.
If you have to turn your computer on and then walk away, go get a cup of coffee and everything because you know it's going to take it forever to boot up.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Just stop it.
You got all these things that's gotta, in your little menu system tray down at the bottom, it's gotta, all this stuff's gotta load up before you can do anything in Windows. Or if you open up your little processes there, you do that little WinConfig thing and see what all you got running.
And all that stuff that you don't even know what it is?
Yeah. Well, Windows doesn't want you to know what that stuff is, but either way, that's why your computer gets so hot if you got a laptop and it's got Windows on it. That's why your laptop gets so hot, even if you've got a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Mac is no better. I have successfully wiped a Mac and put Linux on that and made a new computer out of it. Somebody pays $1,500 for an iMac. They expect the thing to work. Well, if you got a Mac and it don't work, don't try to get, ain't nobody around you going to be able to work on the thing. You got to carry it to the Apple store where they have their Apple geniuses work on your computer, and in a few days, maybe they might let you have it back. If they don't say, well, you'll probably be better off just scrapping this one. And look, we've got a brand new model here that's just come out, and it does blah, blah, blah. No. But oh well, that's enough of our happy note. I got technology coming out my ears right now, and I'm a little verklempt.
Well, speaking of technology,
and
I'm glad you
being verklempt.
I'm glad you brought up the whole technology angle, because the one positive thing that came out of the missile strike that we did in Syria is that we launched 60 Tomahawk missiles, 59 of which made it to their target. Now, one of them kind of went off its own thing and just blew up.
That is the upside.
That's the upside.
That's the
there may be others. There may be others. But
if there are others, it will be in maybe the near distant future, but not the not we're not going to see any great and wonderful positive results in the immediate future.
In case y'all haven't picked up on this, last week, before the strike was probably happening while we were on the air, right?
Oh, of course it was.
And we didn't know that it was going on, but we were saying last week, don't do it, Trump. Don't.
Please don't.
Don't do no military action over this chemical weapons attack. It's not a great idea.
That may or may not have been a chemical weapon. Look, I've caught flack for this, man. I've caught flack for my stance on that this week, because it seems that in the times that we live in, you can't be critical of someone about one thing without absolutely, hating them on everything that they do.
Right.
Like, we were pretty upfront before the election, or in the primaries, not our guy.
Trump
was not our guy. But as the election gets closer, he's the choice, right? It's either him, Hillary. No choice there, all right? And as far as his immigration stuff goes, I ain't had no complaints. But this Syria thing, I'm not one of these that thinks he had this big collusion with Russia. I think that's a bunch of crap. Trump, I mean. And I know that Putin and Assad are buddies, I get it that Putin's got to stand up for his guy. But we can't go into this under the assumption that everything that comes from Vladimir Putin is a lie, or everything that comes out of Assad's mouth is a lie, because we're dealing with right now, Syria may not be a nuclear country, but Russia is a nuclear country. North Korea is a nuclear country. And those two already have a serious issue with this country. And everybody wanting to point it at Donald Trump and go, him and his buddy Vladimir Putin, look here. There ain't no buddy stuff. This ain't no I'm gonna, since you're my pal, you just look the other way and I'll bomb this and then I can blame you and you can blame me and we can both look good for our people. No. Make no mistake. Vladimir Putin's kind of pissed about all of this because it made him lose face to his people and it made him lose face to Assad because he did move out of the way. Donald Trump did give Russia a heads up and say, look, we're about to hit this airbase.
You might want to make sure that your airplanes, that there aren't Russian airplanes.
Because our beef is not with you.
Yeah.
Our beef is with the Assad regime. And that's where, look, I don't like Bashar Assad. I think he is a tyrant. I think he's a dictator. And I don't think he's above using chemical weapons. I'm just not convinced that this was a chemical weapons attack carried out by Assad. That is a very tricky area over there, man. You don't know who your friends are, who your enemies are. Now, who was it? John McCain that went over there that talked about those, moderate rebels that turned out to be ISIS. Right.
Now, before the show started, Marty and I were saying, even though we live in the same house and all, we don't get to talk as much as you guys would think. And when we do talk, there's household things that have to be talked about more than politics. So sometimes we don't get to actually sit down and talk politics before we do the show. This week is one of those weeks where we have not had time to get together and pick each other's brains over why we didn't like this Syria strike. I knew Marty didn't like it because we talked about it last week. Before it happened, we said, don't do it. Well, we're still saying you shouldn't have done it. But we have not had a chance to talk. So you've heard, Marty giving his angle on it. I've got a slightly different angle. Although we can both sit and rattle off probably 15 or 16 reasons why we don't think this was a good idea. But Marty just told you a few of what's on his mind. Europe and all the neocons and Democrat neocons have all stood up and applauded this. John Kerry said he thought it was a good idea. John Nuance Kerry.
Wait. You're telling me John Kerry and anybody on the Trump administration are like
on the same page? Italy says, "Oh, good job, Trump." Italy. Okay.
I sort of expect that out of the European countries.
Now, it's not that everything that Europe says is wrong. But, look, when it comes to the use of military force, Europe's got sort of a lousy track record.
Really?
I'm just saying.
If we want to hear from somebody, can we hear from somebody that's like actually used their military for something besides a retreat?
Or to invade their next-door neighbor.
Right?
Or slaughter about 6 million Jews and homosexuals. Can
we hear from somebody with an actual offensive army that's allowed to have a standing army?
Now, even Great Britain, I'll say this, Great Britain was kind of like, okay, we'll get on board with this if this is it. If this is all you do. Okay.
Well, Trump said he's not putting troops in.
Why?
Yeah. Why would he say it, or why would he?
Why would he say it?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think because people like you and I are having this kind of conversation, to where when we've had a military action, which that's what that was. It was the launching of cruise missiles from naval ships. That's a military action. Well, it usually is followed by another military action, which then is followed by another and another and another. That is the general worry, and I think he's astute enough to get that, and maybe he's trying to tell people like you and like me, look, I had to do something because I said I would.
But this whole thing is about, quote unquote, sending a message. I don't like the sending a message thing. For one thing, each of those missiles was at least a good $800,000 apiece. We sent 60. Okay. So you're talking roughly a little under 60 million. And that's just in the hardware.
That ain't even right. That ain't even close to being right.
Okay.
That's
Now,
God.
I'm glad our sailors had a chance to practice. Okay. They don't get to launch Tomahawk missiles very often because they're a little pricey.
And thank goodness for that.
Yeah. But, okay, it's good that they were able to validate all their drills and all that, and then did a good job. I mean, good job to the U.S. Navy for at least, when called to do what the Commander-in-Chief says,
Yep.
the U.S. Navy said, okay.
Hats off to the manufacturer of the Tomahawks.
Yeah, Raytheon,
Good job, guys.
You build a darn good cruise missile, okay, great. But when you've got Europe and all the neocons here in the U.S. and a bunch of Democrats, the Warhawk Democrats,
you
going,
just
yeah,
said Democrats.
Trump, that was a good thing. Be suspicious, people. And this may have good results. Okay, there may be some good results. Like, I've heard some talk on the news and in the print, on the internet that this thing may bring China closer to the U.S. as a united front against Russia. Really? That's a good thing?
No.
I mean, okay, they're saying, well, China's stopping the coal shipments coming from, to and from North Korea, to show.
Oh,
Kim
yeah,
Jong-un.
that'll show them.
China is one of the biggest oppressors of Chinese Christians.
One of the biggest violators of human rights, period.
Yeah, they're massive human rights violators. They're probably second behind the U.S. in abortions.
First, they're leading the world in execution, though.
Yeah, they do a pretty good. They got a assembly line sort of thing going on
every
over there
day
for executing people, and Christians don't do too well in China.
Well, they do as long as they don't ever practice it.
Yeah. So here, politics definitely make strange bedfellows. But
look,
the thing is,
I think that if we're going to have any positive results out of it, like that whole sending a message thing, all right, with any luck, it did sort of, if this is something that was carried out by Assad or, at Assad's behest, it is good that he knows that in the White House now, we don't have somebody that carries a purse. We have somebody that says, you know what can we do here to mess up some stuff?
Well, we'll have what we've got, all that has been proven that we've got, is a president who will use a missile strike to not accomplish a whole much.
Well, now
they did not crater the runway, okay, at that air base, because they say you don't really use Tomahawks. You can.
I think it was more or less like he said, just I think it was like a friendly smack on the back of the head, like a global smack on the back of the head, a little wrap around the ear, just to say, act right.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan.
Well,
still
I'm
not a fan.
Still not a fan either. But I'll tell you what I am a fan of. I am a fan of the MOAB.
The mother of all bombs, or
Yes.
what do they call it? The mobile.
Man, just a big old gigantic bomb is what it is. This thing,
21,000 pounds.
21,000 pounds of act right. It is designed to bust up things underground, and
like cave systems, tunnels, bunkers.
So, like, we've had a missile strike there in Syria to go, hey, we're paying attention. Granted, you and I aren't a huge fan of that one.
Right.
However, on the campaign trail, Trump said, ISIS, you ain't never met nobody like me before. I ain't
Which
Obama.
Is true.
When I get into the office, I'm coming after you with everything I got. Well, President Obama has had the use of the MOAB.
Oh, God, that thing's been
It's
around
been available
forever.
since 2003.
Yeah.
And we were thinking of using it in Iraq. And the military had went to the president and said, look, this thing over in Mosul, let me tell you what we got. President Obama said, no, we're not dropping anything like that. Well, in case people hadn't noticed, we still got some things going on in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
not much,
see,
not much, but we still do. But the thing is since President Obama was nice enough to take out all of our military and give back everything that they fought and died to keep and hold.
Right.
Al-Qaeda and ISIS have seen fit to worm their way back into the tunnel systems there in the mountains, because those mountains are nothing but a labyrinth of tunnels. Those guys, they live in those things, in those caves. They know them backwards and forwards, and they're able to do all kind of damage to any United States friendly that may be in the area.
They can store. Not only do they have people underground there, they can store all their weaponry,
all their really nasty stuff.
They can keep it hid down there. Where if we tried to send troops in there to clear it out, it would take 15
or weapons
years.
Inspectors, they never find it. So
rather than sending in troops to go and try to rat all those people out, we do have a president who said, you know what? What was that big bomb you were telling me about, General?
Like, can you just see General Mattis going, hey, I don't know, I've been wanting to do this since we went to Afghanistan, and since I was like, the CO over there, I begged them to let me drop these things. Can I just drop one? Sure, yeah, go ahead, drop, yeah. So they did. Now, this bomb has a blast radius of a mile. It's the closest thing to a nuke that's on the market without being a nuke. It's that devastating. It detonates 6 feet off the ground so that all of the force will be directed downward. It's so big, we can't drop it out of a bomb bay. We don't got a plane big enough to drop it out of a bomb bay.
They hook a big old parachute to the thing, and they set it on a pallet with wheels.
On a Hercules. Great big, gigantic C-1, is that a C-130 Hercules?
Okay, and they throw the parachute out there, and the parachute drags the bomb out the back door.
Man, that's some ordnance right there.
They're able to do it and actually hit their target.
And see, the beauty of this bomb, this mother of all bombs, is like when it detonated 6 feet off the deck there on those mountains, any ISIS or Al-Qaeda that happened to be within that blast radius was pretty much vaporized. If they were below ground and they somehow didn't get vaporized, believe me when I say
they're jelly.
They ain't coming out. They ain't going to be sniping people anymore. They're not going to be going into any of these villages and going, you ain't Muslim enough. You can either come along and go along to get along, or we'll just chop everybody's head off. They ain't going to be doing that in that part anymore. That's one of those messages that I'm pro-message there. And this is where the whole Kim Jong-un thing comes in. Trump was doing this I think there's a lot of reasons behind it. I don't think it was just he's got to be tough on ISIS. We got little Kimmy Jong-un down there throwing his little tantrums, rattling his sabers, saying, "Look at me, I'm still relevant."
Because see, okay, here's the thing, folks. All of Kim Jong Un's nukes. Number one, he doesn't have many of them because he's kind of poor. North Korea is not a wealthy country, so he doesn't have many of them, and he has to keep them underground in hardened bunkers, right, Marty?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because otherwise we would know exactly
where they're not supposed to have them.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. He's got them. Everybody knows he's got them, and he lets everybody know he's got them. But he's sort of been told by the UN and by, everybody on the planet, hey, you ain't supposed to have them. And it's kind of like a bounty on them things. It's like anybody that's got a clear shot at them can and will take them out. Japan's like, yeah, just put one where we can see it. Just put it where we can see it. That whole MOAB thing, I think, part of it was to say, okay, Kimmy, we hear you down there. We all know you're still there. And if you'll just shut up, you might get to live a little bit longer. If not, take a look at your screen that has a picture of Afghanistan on it. See that mountain? Oh, look. There's no mountain no more. There's no top of it. Where did the top go? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we did that. Now, you can keep your little nukes for a little while longer if you'll just shut up. If not, MOAB. MOAB, meet bunker. And just so you know we're serious, I'm sending a little nuke sniffer down there. And if our nuke sniffer sniffs out your nuke, uh-oh. Because Trump has made no bones about it. And he's not Barack Obama, y'all. This is not all right, now, if you don't start acting right, in 4 months, I'm gonna send one drone, and it's gonna wait outside your door. Now, it's
gonna play James Taylor music, right, 24 hours a day.
We'll James Taylor you into submission.
We'll show you.
It ain't like that. From what I've seen out of this president, now, granted, again, not a fan of Syrian strike. What I am a fan of is he didn't say, "Hey, y'all, we're about to strike Syria." He said, hey, y'all, while we was talking about 10 minutes ago, yeah, I just bombed the crap out of an airfield. Or today, Sean Spicer comes out and goes, good morning. Yeah, we just dropped a great big honking bomb on Afghanistan, and it's the biggest one that we've got without being a nuke, and they ain't going to be messing with us no more. Y'all get that, North Korea? I like that. And I think Kim Jong-un is going, y'all see anything outside? Is he looking? Because he ain't going to tell us what he's going to do. I think that's a little bit of shut-up juice, because he did have this very public meeting with the Prime Minister there of China. Mm-hmm, and North Korea's, China's saying, we'll stop their coal. Yeah, that'll. Apparently, some of them Chinese people ain't never been to North Korea. They ain't got no coal anyway. They're poor. The only one getting the coal's been Kim Jong-un to begin with. Any sanction we put on that country is not going to affect that country. Those people, they're already still in the 8th century, for Pete's sake. And they ain't coming out. He ain't got no intention of bringing them people out.
Okay. Let's move, not off this topic, but on a related topic. You know what else has been dropped kind of on the world?
Huh.
The team that the foreign policy team that Trump has assembled around himself.
Oh, you mean the national security team?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Rex Tillerson, say what you like about Donald Trump. Rex Tillerson is a dang good Secretary of State, in that when he was talking to Vladimir Putin and when he was talking to, Lavrov, Sergei Lavrov.
Yeah.
Rex Tillerson just kind of told him the truth. I mean, and with no varnish, no gloss, no nuance. He just kind of told him the truth. Like, look, this is no, we're not going to just stand by, which I don't like that particular message, but I do like its delivery. And I like its delivery person. Nikki Haley.
I think she's been doing an outstanding job there at the UN.
Going to the UN and then going to APAC, and getting applause for all the things she said, and then kind of going, okay, I'm glad y'all like it, but I'm just telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, no nuance. This is not a nuanced message. This is y'all quit lying.
We're going to say what we mean and mean what we say.
When she's talking to the UN, she's telling them, look, we know you're lying. We know that you are. When you lie, we're going to tell the truth.
One of the effects from all of this that's been very immediate. And Trump has been catching flack because people are it's like Glenn Beck, like anybody's listening to him anymore. But like Glenn Beck is, saying that this is a big flip flop for Trump because Trump said, okay, remember when I said NATO was broken? Well, it's not broken anymore. That's not Trump saying I was wrong about NATO being broken. He didn't say that at all. And for all you that's wanting to jump on the flip-flop bandwagon and say, see, he's just changing positions again. No. What he's saying is his position didn't change, theirs did. He said they're not irrelevant anymore. That means that NATO is making a shift on its own there. That NATO, the things that Nikki Haley has been saying in the UN, the things that Rex Tillerson has been saying
everywhere he's gone
overseas, the things that General Mattis has been saying, our Secretary of Defense, probably, arguably, one that has the potential of being one of the best SecDefs this country's ever had. I think that these other NATO members are looking and going, okay.
Trump may put out some buck wild tweets, y'all. Okay?
Not the most eloquent spokesman.
His speech may be inaccurate as all get out. His use of his word usage sometimes can make people cringe, us included. But we had said when he was assembling his cabinet, we told you, oh wow, this is going to be pretty good. I
wasn't thrilled with Bannon.
No, the thing is, I'm still not what you would call thrilled with Donald Trump. I posted some things this week on the website regarding this strike. Okay, the Right Angle Crew today, the video that I posted today over at honestanswerradio.com. Those guys, they're hoorah, hoorah, hoorah about the missile strike. Well, I'm not in perfect agreement with them on that. This is one where I love all those guys, and I disagree with them very carefully when I do, because they're all three very, very bright people. But I'm still not on the Trump train. I'm still not uncritical.
See, that there shows there's no sycophancy here at all. You and I both have been. I think we've been equally critical of anybody that claims to represent you or me or anyone that we know.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not, we're not crazy about this strike. Now, I'm also not wetting the bed over it either.
No, it's too early. And there's we can't take it back.
And so we'd better make the best out of it. Look, I keep coming back. $60 million, man. Yeah. It better be well spent.
Yeah.
If it proves to have been well-spent money, then I will come back on these very airwaves and say, okay, y'all, I was totally wrong.
And look, while I agree that we do have to make our our presence known, on the foreign plane, and all this, standing up and saying y'all better act right. That's really all well and good.
But we still,
we have a domestic front too.
Yeah, we still want to see Obamacare repealed and replaced.
And I hadn't forgot about that at all.
Still want to see the VA fixed. Now, I saw that Richard this week had posted some sort of good news about his own personal thing and about what's kind of been happening with the VA system in Texas. But I think he'd be the first one to tell you, that's not enough, and it doesn't make up for the bugaboos of the past. You can't put a Band-Aid
on a gunshot wound and call it good.
Yeah, so the VA still has systemic issues that have to be fixed.
Our tax code needs some serious attention from people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, so we've still got, on the domestic plate, on the economic front, we've still got some stuff. I mean, yeah, great. Okay, we've done some military stuff. Woohoo! Let's get our focus back on the people here at home, because we'll be stronger everywhere when we're stronger at home.
I mean, now, I've seen some good things involving anti-illegal immigration.
Yeah, he turned Jeff Sessions loose on some sort of reluctant judges this week, and Jeff Sessions kind of laid out and said, look, you're going to start prosecuting these cases, and you better start sentencing some people and deporting some people, or you won't get to be judge.
The numbers on the amount of, people trying to cross our borders, it's gone down since Trump has been president. I like to see that. I wish I had the audio, but there's some audio of Sessions out, or there's some video of Jeff Sessions out there saying, don't come here. Like, more or less to the world at large, y'all just give us a minute. Let us get some things sorted out. And
now, I hate to bring this name into the conversation.
Well, then don't.
No, I got to. Yesterday morning, while I was doing some stuff in the kitchen, Outnumbered is the show. 4 women.
Oh, yeah, over there on Fox.
Yeah, well, Geraldo was the man.
Well, that was a stretch for him, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
I don't think he's been a man since the 70s.
Personally, I've seen some women with thicker mustaches, but but Geraldo was going off about Jeff Sessions' little speech.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess he didn't really pay any attention, but he was volunteering to take them and show them where MS-13 is hanging out here in the U.S. and show them what's the other one? The Mara, whatever.
The Mara Salvatruce.
Yeah.
That's MS-13.
But he was going to show them where they hang out in what cities.
Well, he probably
gonna go take the Border Patrol and as if Jeff Sessions didn't call out MS-13 by name.
Right.
All Geraldo hears is deportation, innocent people, blah, blah.
Breaking up families, blah, blah.
He didn't hear that part,
about the cartel.
Yeah, and...
do you know, remember when you and me and Tina went to... out to California back in 2000.
We had to stop at El Paso?
It was in 2008 when we went, right? Remember the route we took when we got out of Texas and everything, went through Arizona. We got on a little stretch of interstate there. It's not a very long interstate. It's Interstate 8. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Right now, we can't be going on that interstate anymore because the cartels have more or less taken that little stretch of highway over. It's now too dangerous for American citizens to ride along that interstate on the way to California. You got to go around. Got to go around Tucson the other way. Go around. Take the Phoenix route. You don't go down the I-8 corridor anymore. That's in our borders. You think these cartels are made up of legal immigrants? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That whole Fast and Furious thing, what did this have to do with like the border there in El Paso? Had a lot to do with Nogales, Arizona as well. Right. Another huge border crossing thing. We got those issues going on right here, and everybody knows it. I think if anybody's going to get down on it, it'll be Jeff Sessions. I think he's probably got a better approach to it than, I don't know, like taking weapons and putting them in the hands of the cartels, just to we'll show them, we'll sting them on a gun buying rap.
Except then we won't, but they can get to keep the guns anyway
and kill one of our border patrol or one of our border patrol agents. Brian Terry.
Well, and another good thing is Jeff Sessions is at least talking to the Border Patrol as opposed to shutting them out of the conversation.
Yeah, that was a great immigration strategy, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, when they were talking, when the whole Gang of Eight, and this is Paul Ryan and his group, and Marco Rubio, when they were formulating their quote-unquote comprehensive immigration reform bill, back in in 2012 and 2013, they shut out the Border Patrol Union. They just said, we don't want to. Why would we want to talk to you guys? Why would we want to know about the people who are actually at the tip of the spear of enforcing our immigration laws?
Well, just knuckle draggers, all of them.
At least Jeff Sessions is actually talking to the Border Patrol. I listened to his speech. I listened to all of it, every word. I heard every word he said, and I didn't find nothing that I wanted to argue with Jeff Sessions about. I thought he laid out a pretty good plan in very clear language. He talked to the Border Patrol officers, said they're going to get to do their job, the one that they signed on to do.
Well,
and with a little bit of, and you're going to do your job. And then
here's somebody
same thing
I
to the
think,
judges and the courts.
I'm glad to see that that they're freeing up the hands of the Border Patrol and the ICE agents. I'm glad that their hands are being freed up. What I would like to see, coming next, though, and I've been hearing Jeff Sessions deal with this, here and there, is these sanctuary cities.
That's right.
Like it was either this morning or yesterday morning on the way to work. On the radio, I heard him talking about. I can't remember which sanctuary city. I want to say it's out in L.A., but one of the mayors has now, put it to their city police that they're not allowed to ask anybody's immigration status.
Right.
And that if they do, they'll be fired. Now, I would really, really, really love to see our Attorney General deal with these so-called sanctuary cities in a way that it would send that clear message that they want to send, to the foreign, the people on the foreign front. I would like to see some of those messages sent here on a domestic front. Like, take that city. If it's Los Angeles, say, all right, Los Angeles, if that's the way you want to run your police force, that's great. But you get no more. And by no more, I mean like zero federal funds for anything until you get into compliance with our national immigration policies and stop trying to legislate from your little dais there at your city council meetings. Stop trying to act like you're bigger than who you are. You're just a freaking mayor. I don't care what city it is. I don't care if you're the mayor of New York City with one of the largest populations on the planet. I don't care. You're a freaking mayor. You're nobody, Jack. You got city councils to run. You ever sat in a city council meeting? Ever? You know what those things are like? You deal with crap. Don't try to put your nose into the national spotlight.
Well,
I want to see our Attorney General start biting some of the noses off.
If it wasn't, if there was no harm done by allowing illegals to just live there, okay, fine. I wouldn't care. But the harm is they don't stay. And there is harm. Ask Kate Steinley's family.
I was going to say, there's a lot of harm when these people aren't vetted. And, they made a big deal out of Trump saying something, like they're sending us their rapists and their drug dealers and all of that.
Well, they are.
They most certainly are. I mean, look, I get the bleeding hearts that want in the snowflakes talking about, these are just families. You know what? Let me be generous here. Let me be generous. Maybe 1 out of 20 of the illegal immigrants in this country, maybe, just maybe, all of them could be considered in that family category. And I'm sure there are children here whose mom and pops were illegal, and they had baby over here, and the baby became an American citizen, and now they're in school, and they're in college. Sorry. I mean, it seems heartless, I know, but, quite frankly, I just don't care anymore. I'm looking around and I'm going, wait a minute, I see a whole bunch of legal immigrants in this country that busted their butt. It took them 10 years, some of them, and tens of thousands of dollars for the privilege of becoming an American citizen. And you want me to feel sorry for these families, these entire families of people that flip the middle finger to this country and say, not only do I not want to be a citizen here, but I want to be on your welfare roll. I want health care. I want a place to live.
And I want to get ahead of the line from those people who have been trying to immigrate here legally and do everything the right way and abide by our laws.
I demand amnesty. You know what? Y'all can take your amnesty and your demands and put them where the sun don't shine. And that ain't that little place on the other side of Cheehaw Mountain.
No, you can take them to the other side of the border and complain all you want to.
Tell you what.
Fly your Mexican flag.
Yeah. If
all you want to.
If you're wanting all of these things, you got a whole country of your own that is a lot bigger than this one. And it's got a whole lot of mineral wealth. Oh, my gosh. Mexico has the potential to be the wealthiest country on the planet.
Without ever selling a single drug.
Yep.
Ever.
They would have more wealth than Saudi Arabia.
They've got oil. They've got gold.
Emeralds, diamonds. Precious metals,
rare earth minerals, which are, because of the internet and because of the newer technologies that we've got going, those things are big in demand. Dude, they got it all. Mexico's got it all. You could be one of the wealthiest countries on the planet.
You want to come over here and complain about our government? How about looking at your own and look where you are? You're not in your own country. You don't like the way it is over there? Stop trying to change this one. How about trying to change yours? I hate to agree with Teddy Roosevelt on things. He's not one of my favorite presidents. But that whole deal about, there's only room for 100% Americanism here. That whole speech he gave about hyphenated Americans, be the ruination of this country.
Yeah.
He was spot on, dead on the money. Morgan Freeman went nuts on a reporter one time because she said something about him being African American. African, I ain't never been to. I'm not ain't nothing African about me. I'm an American. Casey and I, look, we our descendants come from Ireland. They come from Scotland. They come from Europe. Guess what? Me and Casey ain't European. Ain't nothing European about us. Ain't nothing Irish about us, except maybe our tempers. We're Americans through and through. I get upset when I see people in this country flying the flag of another country. I don't care if it's where they come from. I don't care if you're proud of your Irish heritage. You don't fly that Irish flag here. You're not Irish. You're American. That Mexican flag, I could care less about your damn Mexican pride. Be an American or get the hell out of here. It's really as simple as that. And I got friends that look at me like my head's on fire for saying things like that. How can you be so cruel? These are just people. That may very well be. They can be people in their own damn country. They can take care of their own. We had a problem here with not being taxation without representation. had a big king, lord and everything, just taking all the wealth and robbing from all us poor folks and everything. And we had a bunch of farmers with pitchforks and hunting rifles take on the most well-seasoned, well-organized, most feared military on the entire planet, just because we were sick of the way we were being governed. And when we got the right to govern ourselves, we even thought enough to put it in our own Constitution. Oh, by the way, we reserve the right to revolt. You don't like where you come from? Change it. Get the hell out of here. Just go away. Go back to where you come from and be the change that you want. Or go through the process.
Yeah, there is a pathway to citizenship in the United States.
For everybody.
Anybody who wants to come here.
But it takes work.
Yeah, and commitment. And money.
And a desire to become an American. Period.
Yeah, see, that's the kicker. Well, man, we've reached to the end of the show. Now, you were indicating.
Yes.
That you had something to say today in the end of show portion.
Well, I guess it's like a little self-reflection this week.
I did mine last week.
Well, as I was talking earlier about this operating system, this Linux operating system, and the success
you're pretty
enthusiastic
enthusiastic
that I've had.
about it.
I am, because you know what? It works. It works, and I found a peace. And I know it sounds crazy that I found peace. Look, with my job, I work with computers a lot. And I have to work with Windows machines a lot. And it had gotten very, very aggravating when I was trying to get some work done and something accomplished. My operating system malfunctions.
Or you just can't do that in Windows.
Yeah, or when it becomes a hindrance. When the operating system that I was using became a hindrance, I had to change it. I had to make that change. Now look, when I went over to Linux, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know where things were on there, or what Linux calls, their certain little icons or whatever. All the names are different. Yeah, but I can read past third grade, and I can push buttons, because that's what you do. You gotta push buttons to know what things are, and I took the time. And ever since then, since I found that, and I wasn't angry all the time about computers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I got to tell somebody about this. Everybody that I would talk to that would be complaining to me about something about their computer, about a Windows issue, it would make me chuckle, and I'd say, well, let me show you a better way. And like I said earlier, 100% success rate. A 100% success rate with the most skeptical people that I know. You were one of them. You were one of the Windows skeptics. I don't know, man. I got things that I do that they're Windows intensive, and I don't know if they're going to work on Linux. And I'm saying they'll work on Linux. It might take a little while to figure it out, but I can make it work. I can show you how to do this, and you've seen it was a better way. Our aunt, she had a Mac. Mac was useless to her. She couldn't even do one thing on her computer. Put the new operating system in it. What I'm getting at here is I meant what I said earlier. I wish that I had the success rate with evangelizing my relationship, with my God or with Jesus Christ as I have with Linux. And I was thinking about that while I've been out on the road and up on the mountain and everything this week. I was thinking, well, why don't I have that kind of success? Maybe it's my enthusiasm. And that made me start thinking about, a lot of the other my brothers and sisters in Christ, like that we go to church with, or that I know in our community, people we went to school with, other people that they call themselves a Christian. And I look at our church on a Sunday morning. Heck, I ain't even able to be there every Sunday. But I look at our church, and I've seen the numbers grow, and I've seen the numbers drop. The numbers grow, the numbers drop. But for the most part, there's like the same people there. You know, there's a certain number of people that you can count on them to be there at that church all the time. And those people, when I tell you they're enthusiastic about their salvation, I'm not exaggerating.
No, I know the same people. I mean, there's no enthusiasm gap.
No.
Among that hardcore. But
No,
I see what you're getting at here. There are, and see, I was thinking about this, as a matter of fact, the other contributor to our website, Yelena.
Yep.
She sent me a little note this week saying that she has seen some things moving. She hasn't written in a while.
Right.
But she's, one of the things she mentioned was about Christians who were very active during the political campaign and were praying about a new president. But it's like they've gone back to sleep.
Well, God gave them what they wanted, or they think God gave them what they wanted.
Right.
And now they want to put God back in the closet.
Yeah. And, you know, and I had sent her a reply back. I said, you know, I've seen some of the same things. And I said, now some of these people hold political office, you know, but, you know, it's about where you put your trust in, you know, obviously we don't put our faith in men. You know,
I was saying that it was you know, the example I used was an operating system. The one that I had been using, it wasn't
working for you.
And eventually Windows got to the point that it wasn't working for you.
That's right.
Our aunt's Mac operating system, it wasn't working for them. I've got so many friends right now, and so do you, who their lives aren't working for them.
They're not peaceful
system,
people.
No, they're not. They don't have that peace.
They don't have the joy. It's the joy is the part. That enthusiasm for life.
Mm-hmm. That joy comes from being redeemed. That joy comes from saying, I was in the dark all that time, and now the light is on. I see a better way. At the end of every show, you and I, we try to give people a better way. And just like with that Linux operating system, Casey and I, we so desperately want everyone to have the same kind of peace that we've had. My life, you know, you don't have to know me. But my life hadn't been like, you know, and just like your life, whoever's listening, I'm sure your lives have not been a bouquet of roses.
Before we go to our 2 Chronicles, to tie in with what you were saying, this week I was looking at, because Sunday was Palm Sunday, right? I was looking at Luke chapter 19. And speaking of the right way and the wrong way, Luke chapter 19 starts out with the story of Zacchaeus. You know, Zacchaeus was a wee little man, you know, the tax collector. And he wanted to see Jesus so bad, he climbed up into a sycamore tree so he could see him better. And Jesus saw him and said, Zacchaeus, come down. I'm going to go have dinner with you tonight. And Zacchaeus came and said, look, tell you what, I want to change. I'm going to pay everybody back that I've charged more than I should, and I'm going to give it back to them fourfold. Okay. Zacchaeus immediately recognized a better way. Okay, and said, I'm going to change. And do you think Zacchaeus felt worse after that, or do you think he felt better?
I think he felt lighter.
Okay. By the end of chapter 19, though, it gets pretty dark, because that's when Jesus is going into Jerusalem, and everybody's, you know, they're putting their coats down so the donkey he was riding wouldn't even step foot on the ground, right?
Right.
And Jesus wept for Jerusalem because he knew what was about to happen to them, and he knew why. because he was about to be rejected
by his own people.
And they failed to recognize that moment, which had been prophesied
right
to the day in the book of Daniel, the whole Daniel prophecy, to the day when the Messiah would enter Jerusalem as king. And Jerusalem failed to recognize, and look what happened. He said, Lord, they're going to dig a trench around you, and they're going to have you hemmed up. You're not going to be able to escape, and you're going to be slaughtered. And he was talking about what was coming in 70 A.D., when the Romans sacked Jerusalem and all that. There's a contrast there. You got Zacchaeus, who saw a better way and took it. Marty was talking
willing to make the commitment.
Yeah, and to change, and was immediately a better, happier person as a result. I'm talking like right then.
Which is all we're trying to offer. That's all the end of the show. That's it in its entirety. Casey and I simply want to offer you a better way, a better operating system for life. And it comes so simplistic. Every week, you guys know the verse by now. Sing along with us if you know the words. 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways,
then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land. So those of you out there who are called by that name, who are Christians, who are followers of Christ, don't go back to sleep. I know most of you haven't. I mean, I really do. I know that most of you are still getting down on your knees and praying for this country.
Don't give up, because it gets tough.
But to those of you who are listening and you just aren't quite convinced by all this, I don't know of anything better except to say that what has happened with changing over to Linux as an operating system, when I changed over and started being obedient. Now, see, I was already a Christian, but it wasn't until I started becoming obedient to and following the way.
That commitment that we're talking about.
Yeah. I was immediately better off. I'm so much better off now. So much. You guys have no idea.
The peace that surpasses all understanding. Well, all right, guys. I hate to do it, but it's that time. We'll be back next week. We got a whole lot more lined up for you guys, so just keep tuning in to HonestAnswerRadio.com. You never know what you're going to see. And we will see you guys the same time next week. Hang in there.
Good night, y'all.
And you still can hear me singing to people who don't listen to the things that I am saying, praying someone's gonna hear. And I guess I'll die explaining how the things that they complain about are things they could change, hoping someone's gonna care. I was born a lonely singer, and I'm bound to die the same, but I've gotta feed the hungry